Look at all of these beautiful people who are concerned with the future. Doesn't that just bring you great comfort that, look at your neighbor now, that this absolute stranger that you are sitting next to today is just as concerned about their future as you are about your own? Something really uplifting about that makes me feel each and every time I give this best-selling seminar, voted #1, 8 consecutive years by the Forbes and Friends Money Stewards Association, that my faith in humanity is restored. I'm sure at least part of what allowed you to arrive here in this workshop was little more than a fresh acknowledgement of your mortality and an understanding that there is only so much in life we can control. But there is another crucial element that I want to introduce to you today, and it might really delight and surprise you. Sitting around in this dusty theater trying to figure out what comes next could feel pretty dour, but my specialized approach brings us back to something important and uplifting. What makes us feel alive? Let's begin by taking a moment to gather our thoughts, okay? If you have a pen on hand, get it out. If you don't, we'll pass some around, but friends without pens, so glad you're here, because maybe preparation for this life just isn't your thing, let alone for the next one, okay? Time and time again, one of the most surprising things that makes me feel alive is preparation. Preparation? How can it be? I still hate packing my lunch. Well, preparation is merely making future opportunity for more spontaneity, letting you live it up for as long as you can. So let's get to the good stuff, get prepared for the present and the future, and let's get down to writing your wills, okay? My associate will circulate some very helpful templates and some pens for the poorly prepared. Now, I want you to know there are some formalities, and probably some people in your life that would say never ever write your will without an attorney, but we all know these people, these people eat microwave meals and channel surf for pleasure, and they're willing to spend thousands of dollars on opinions needlessly associated with secondary degrees. But because of a very generous bequest from my late husband, I am thrilled today to offer you access to an abridged version of my best-selling workshop at no cost, allowing you full insight into my 30 years of experience doing this work. Starting from the circumstance of my own family, I understand the rules, okay? I can rely on myself. Olographic wills are my specialty, and olographic wills are merely handwritten ones. You know, I generally avoid jargon to be direct with the task at hand, but that's a good word for you to know, because sometimes titles add legitimacy, and you want to understand the rules and rely on yourself, and you can. So discover with me now that a valid olographic will can be made very easily with just 3 things in mind, okay? Rules, goals, and questions, okay? The rules of will writing are a little complicated to explain all at once. So if you're interested, I highly suggest you step into the world of my advanced will writing seminar, available through subscription only. Our goals for today's session are general. You are here to buy yourself peace of mind for every time you hop on a plane or in the car for that long-awaited girls' trip and find yourself in the middle of a global pandemic. But our #1 goal is for each and every one of you to leave here today with some draft of your last will and testament, okay? Questions? All right. Let's take a moment and close our eyes. Take a breath with me. Think of the person in your life that you trust the very, very most, okay? You gotta trust them, and you might want to think about some assurance that they'll outlive you, okay? Ready? Open your eyes. Great. So this person that you have just picked, this is your executor, okay? Everyone say it with me now. Executor. Very good. So if you picked your husband, you might want to make sure if you move on to the next life or the next husband, your 20-year-old replacement doesn't get your best dress. And here's to hoping you've got a prenup. There's a little bitterness seeping through there, but I think it's good to be honest. If we can be honest with ourselves, honesty, even though difficult, makes us feel very alive. So let's take a look right up at the top here, underneath date. At the top is sentence 1, which we will work on now. So for the very first and most important sentence of your last will and testament, all you need to know is today's date and the full and correct spelling of the name of the person you will grant executorship to. So can I have a volunteer to read out sentence 1? That might be kind of fun, right? Yes, reading sentence 1, thank you.
I, your name, declare this to be my last will and testament. I expressly revoke all prior wills and audits.
That was sentence 2 as well, but yes, that is the full correct first paragraph of your last will and testament. That is all of paragraph 1. Don't you feel relieved? I feel relieved for you. Now, before we get into the complexities of all the other people who complicate your life and complicate the jargon, now I'm talking about mutual wills, and this includes married couples with adult children, minor children, man and woman living together, not married, no children, and let me tell you, that abject sin tends to complicate things further in the will writing process, but regardless of how you've populated this life, you've made something of it. You, yes, you have accrued wealth and gained property and might even have a Rolex for each wrist, and you want to make sure that, the government or your nursing home or your pit-stained cousin Herbert doesn't stake a claim to your hard-earned wealth and use it on his paintball range, because you have worked so hard for those material possessions and they look so good on you too. So let's keep it going here. Moving on to sentence 3. Who would like to read out sentence 3? Oh, great, just reading sentence 3, thank you.
I, blank, leave all my property to blank executor name.
Very good, that's all of sentence 3. Who would like to read out sentence 4? Oh, sentence 4, yes.
If executor name predeceases me, I leave all my property.
Oh, actually, yes, great, thank you so much, but let's pause there because we're introducing a new element. If it was hard for you to think of one person to trust, well, you best check in with yourself because you're gonna need a second one too. Preferably even younger, and preferably maybe goes to the gym. If you can't think of anyone, that's okay. It's okay, we'll come back to it. But any questions? No? Any questions about trust? Okay, it's a quiet bunch, but surely it's because you're thoughtful, and that's good. So, in that last sentence, sentence 4, we cover worst case scenario. No need to think on it too much because it's an emergency shoot, but so your executor doesn't make it either, and it happens. So you got to think of one more person. Oh, it's a great reason to have kids. 12 hours plus of excruciating pain, but a lifelong legacy, unless your kids are just, let's move on. Sentence 5, I'll be reading sentence 5. Okay, sentence 5 reads, I name executor as the executor of my succession. Great, and sentence 6, I'll take that one too. If executor name cannot serve, I name, and then here you put your backup choice if you've thought of who that might be. And then sentence 7 is already complete. I'll let you read that on your own time so we can get to the moment that you've all been waiting for. You just put a big signature right at the bottom there, and your future is squared away. Oh, what a blessing. That concludes the formal portion of our program. Wow, there's a lot of frowns out there, or maybe just masks over frowns, but how easy was that? so easy when this life is so complicated. If you're frowning because of that aching feeling that your life is just too complicated, and it's a good question, you know? How complicated is your life? Why must that be? Oh, well, this is a question I just love to share on, you know, because when I first got into this work, my life was a mess. I mean, I was just too full of caveat. Well, you know, I just would love to hear from anyone in the audience who feels that their life is just too complicated, you know? We want to support you. Oh, and look at that. What a thoughtful workshop this has been. So sad to say we are at time, but I hope that this has been a big step into your future and you can go out into the world and have a big cheeseburger and a few beers with confidence. Celebrate. If for any reason you are not satisfied with the holographic will that we have worked through today, just, you know, tear it up. No, really. Rip it up good and start again. What a rare opportunity that is to just start again. If nothing else will make you feel alive, that'll do it. Thank you so much for your time and attendance, and have a wonderful remainder of your day and a wonderful remainder of your life.